Hey guys, so today I went to a reptile expo and I bought a colony of red runner roaches. There's a ton in here. I got them for $15. Looked good to me. I would think there's over like 60 to 100 inside this container. I've done a lot of research on red runner roaches, and I did plan on getting them if I saw them. And there was just one vendor that had them, and I thought this was a pretty good price. So I'm going to be setting them up in this Sterilite shoebox. But first, I'm going to go ahead and cut a hole here, so then I can have this because they need a lot of ventilation, and I want to make sure that I can supply that. But I honestly didn't realize how small they were. That's what I was saying. I've done research, but I didn't realize just how tiny they were. Like there's an adult male right there, that the right center screen, very light red. They're just real tiny, so I'm just going to keep them in this size container, and once I'm done doing that, I will go ahead and set them up. So first, I figured out where the middle was, or where the hole that I need to cut would exactly be, and I just marked this with permanent marker. And then I went ahead and marked where I would need to cut with the razor blade, so then I would have kind of like a line to go through, and then that helped me keep the line straight like a lot. Like it worked really well. And then I just went ahead and cut the thing through, applied hot glue, and then put on the piece of window screen mesh. Okay, so now I have this lid, which I personally think I did a very good job of. I think I got it nice and straight and in the middle, so pretty proud of that. But here we have the container. It's let's see if it says it's 6 quarts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some oats. So I took some rolled oats here. This is what I use, and I poured it into the corner here. I'm not going to cover the entire bottom, just a little bit here. And then I have a couple of different pieces of egg carton. I'm going to take those, and then I'm going to be getting the roaches out now, and also the eggs. So red runner roaches aren't live birth like hissing cockroaches and dubia roaches. They actually have little egg things. So there's a bunch in here because I guess this is a whole colony. I mean, that's pretty crazy to me. They're so tiny, and I know that they're a lot faster than dubia roaches, so it'll be interesting to see. But you just see how tiny they're so tiny. But what I'm hoping this means is that they'll multiply quicker than, like, say, a dubia roach, because it takes dubia roaches like a super long time. They're born almost the same size as that. Like, I just saw one of the babies here, and dubia roaches are about that size. They're really small. Like you don't really, they're so small. And then it takes them a long time to eventually get to full grown. But if these guys have to go from that size, sorry, the thing is like opaque or whatnot, to only that size, I don't think it should take as long. So I don't really know, but I'm just hopeful. And then that'll be pretty much it. So these guys need to be kept warmer, and right now I'll probably just keep them on top of my large dubia roach colony, and I think they should be warm enough down there. But if they're not reproducing whatsoever, I have some warmer areas in the room that are not necessarily so dark, so I can try those as well. But I'm not gonna keep them on an individual heat pad because I just don't think they really need it. But I will if they're not producing at all or something like that. I mean, it stays pretty warm in my room, so I don't think it'll be an issue. So I started adding them in, and I quickly realized two things. First of all, there were a ton of them in there. And second of all, there was another type of animal in there that I was not expecting to see. Now, these turned out to be buffalo beetles, which are a common cleaner insect to be kept with roaches. So it wasn't bad or anything, but it just took a while because I had to find the mealworms as well as the beetles as well as the roaches, so it just took like a very long time to sort them from the substrate. Okay, that took like a ridiculous amount of time, and the reason it took so long is because I found out that there are what I think are called buffalo beetles in with these guys. So they're actually related to, sorry, it's not focusing. I don't know if it even will. They're really small. They're apparently related to mealworms. So they're darkling beetles. So as you can see, there's really mealworm-like things, but they're tiny, and they're basically a cleanup crew for roaches. But me just being cautious and kind of weirded out by the fact that I didn't realize that they were in there, I actually went ahead and sorted them, and then I found all the tiny, tiny, tiny little worms in there as well. But be prepared. Looks empty, right? There's so many roaches in here. It's just insane. And I just like to say, like, doobie roaches, anybody could keep them. Easiest thing. Not the easiest thing, but in this case, very calm and fine. And just like anybody, if you drop one, you just pick it right back up. They're fine. These, not so much. If you want to have Red Runner roaches, go for it. But just be cautious, and they're just really, really fast. Like, they're just crazy fast. And here, wait, you can see if I drop one, they don't just kind of sit there. Okay, that was a pretty good representation. They are very fast. So that's pretty crazy, but I'm excited to feed them to my reptiles. But basically, what I'm going to be doing is taking these guys and putting them in a separate container, actually, just because. And then these are all the egg things I found. So I'm just going to go ahead and like set those in the corner here, because I don't know how Red Runner roaches work, because I haven't kept them before. So I want to see if those are actual egg things. Like, I have no idea. Like, I know how to set up the enclosure and everything, but I haven't kept them before, so I kind of want to see if there's a bunch of babies in there, or if like each egg is, I don't know how many babies it'll be. It's just kind of different for me, but this is a good setup for them, and I'm gonna go put them down over here by my other roaches. So real quick, there's just a few things about these guys that you should probably know to make sure that they breed. And by the way, I have done a little bit more research. These are in fact just normal buffalo beetles, or that's what they're called, the lesser mealworm. So I think I will add them back into here, but I want to get some pictures of them and do some more research about them, and then I'm going to go ahead and add them back in here, or even to my big doobie roach colony. They're basically just cleaners that don't hurt the roaches, and the roaches don't hurt them. But anyway, so that's why they're helpful, and that's why people will keep them. Just a few things. So first of all, the temperature. Like I said, I was just going to keep them in this area, but at some point I'll probably keep them in some type of warmer area, because they want, like, the range that they should be in is around 70 degrees to 90 degrees, and above 80 is better for breeding them. So you're probably going to want some type of heat pad to get a good amount of breeding going. And then as well, humidity. You want to keep humidity low. Like I said, that's why I installed this thing, to make sure humidity stays low with the wet food that I'll be adding. So roaches, they normally have some type of dry food, which in this case is oats, and the oats has protein and everything. And then also they need some type of wet food, because that's how they get their hydration. They don't drink water. I don't have any water bowls in with my roaches. I just feed them fresh vegetables. So these guys will be getting things like carrots, lettuce, kale, basically fruit, vegetables, and greens, and just all that type of stuff. Basically whatever I feed my green iguana, as well as a bearded dragon that I have, they will eat as well. So basically any greens and stuff like that is what I feed them. Now I think you can feed them potatoes. I've heard that you can feed them dog food. Those are two things that I don't feed them, because I don't have those two things in my room ever, because I don't feed that to my my reptiles. So basically I just feed these guys whatever I feed my iguana and my bearded dragon, and also as well I feed them oats, which is exactly what I give my GB roach colony, and that's what I'll be giving my hissing cockroach colony as well, or hissing cockroach group here in this thing right here. So yeah, that's pretty much it, and then I'm going to be showing you something else that I found.
Hey guys, so a little bit of an update here. It's the next day, and last night some of my babies hatched. So these are in fact eggs. So I'm just gonna go ahead and dump them out, and then you'll see there are like 4 little babies in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to grab those before they escape into my house and put them in with the rest of the colony. They're very fragile and fast, as you can see. I don't think they can get out of this container though. That is one thing, they are very fragile, which is kind of strange to me, and I'm kind of worried about it, because like dubia roaches aren't like that. So like if you grab a dubia roach with tongs, then it doesn't necessarily hurt it depending on how you grab it, but I feel like these guys, it'll just like smush them. So now I'm gonna try to find which casing these guys were in. Whatever one's not hard anymore. It must have been this one, because this one's no longer in use. And this one as well, I guess. It's both of those. Or maybe not, anyway. Okay, it looks like the nice ones, or the ones that have babies in them, are like shiny. And then the ones that aren't shiny are kind of like faulty. So I'm not sure what came from what exactly. And there's also a possibility that when I put these in here, the little tiny ones crawled off from the egg crate into that. So I'm not sure if those were necessarily the babies, but they were very small. So I don't know. Also, I'll probably update you guys once I know I have new babies, like once there's new egg sacs like within the container, which is another reason that I took all the eggs out or into a separate thing, so then I'd know when they laid new ones in my new environment for them.
So I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, like down below. If you have any comments or concerns, put the comments below. And if you want more content, then subscribe. Have a fantastic day.